So there's the channel stuff. Here's the personal side of it. The last couple of weeks, there's been some back and forth on updates with Noah, with my son. And those updates are such that I've reached out to him a couple of times, and on advice of my mother, I sent a copy of one of the emails to my ex-wife, along with the line of, here's me reaching out, and it showed that I had emailed his email address. Well, he now says that he's locked out of that email address, so she gave me a different one, but she shared with him what I wrote. In terms of the Vegas thing, this could be a really nice story too. I sent her, now of course my ex and I have had a contentious thing between us for 4 years now. I sent her the video of the opening of the Vegas Game 3, where my voice comes on at around the 1 minute mark. And it where the copy too that shows the words on the actual ice. And I said, just, I said, I said things are going pretty well. And I said, this Vegas thing seems to be picking up some steam for my channel. So here's a, I show up at the 1 minute mark. And I sent her a link of the video that started at the 55-second mark, so she wouldn't get bored sitting through the rest. And she was impressed. She said she laughed at it, and apparently she showed it to him, and he thought it was entertaining. And I'm framing it with the idea of, hey, Yvonne and I are going to get passports. We're going to be doing some traveling. If he's got his act together and he wants to hang out and do some fun stuff, there's stuff to do. And I mentioned the hockey get-together we had in April. I sent her the link to the image of all of the guys who came out to play floor hockey with me, the Brody Hintz tournament, and I said we're planning on doing these during the summer. If my son feels more comfortable interacting with me in a situation where we're playing a game of road hockey or floor hockey, that's fine too. And I have to approach this with a point of view of just a blank slate, because it won't work if I don't. And it's tricky, because when somebody's fallen that many times and fallen back. So, and I went through this with my dad, where he'd make all these promises, and I'd sit and look him in the eye and say, so Dad, this time's different, right? Yeah, I promise, son. I've really screwed up. I really hurt your mom. I'm really sorry I hurt you guys. And, this really, I really understand now just how much I did. We'd go through this whole thing. Sometimes I'd cry, that kind of thing. And then it would go back the way it was before within a few weeks. And it was devastating. And it happened so many times over my childhood that eventually, when he'd say, this time I'm going to quit, my reaction was, all right. And then when he'd be like, why aren't, what's that reaction mean? And I was like, and my reaction was, you've said this before. So there's some of that. I know with my son we had numerous breakthroughs where we'd sit and talk, and he might cry, he might be upset, and he might promise me everything was going to get better, and he'd apologize and all this other stuff. And then it would go right back. So I'm cautiously optimistic that the story of what's going on with this channel, with me, might shake some people who thought they knew me before. The one comment that I made to Yvonne last night was that, my ex-wife, I'm estranged from both my daughter and my son, my stepdaughter and my biological son. And, just from hearing stories, and I know this is all second and third hand and gossipy and stuff, I'm like, I think I'm the most well-adjusted out of the four. Which is weird, because everybody agreed I was somehow the problem, and I'm the one that didn't change. I haven't changed. I'm still me. I'm still the same guy. And that apparently is okay. So it's a weird situation, and it's like, I think back to how I was always playing video games to try to stay awake and try to focus on not falling asleep. I never had a good night's sleep. I would go to bed at 10 o'clock at night and get up at 3, and I had to stay up till 10 because I had to watch kids, and then I had to get up at 3 because I had to work at 4, and I was burned out. I was burned out for years. So there was nothing here, but I was still myself. So now over the last 4 years, I've really rediscovered myself, got my energy level back up, and it's like everybody else left, and yet things didn't get better on their end. I know my ex-wife is happy where she's at. She's different, and you know, looking back, and you can always have those moments where you look at somebody you've been with and you think, I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not sure how that ever could have worked. And I do see things a little bit differently from that point of view, and I do kind of feel that way. Like, I'm not sure how that happened, other than I'd been alone for a very, very long time. And there's always a danger when you're alone for a very, very, very long time. Bless you. As I was before I met my lovely current wife, who, you know, should be the last wife. Fingers crossed.
Shannon,
but, you know,
you don't call me current wife either.
It's, you know, all right, so the newer model?
Shannon.
The,
Shannon?
yes? No, I was just gonna...
I'm not current wife, I am your wife.
Yes.
That's
currently.
No...
You are my wife currently.
No.
No, it's a compliment.
No, Shannon, it's not.
It is, though.
That's like saying, for now, you're my husband, for now.
Well, not for now. You know, it's a pretty permanent thing.
Pretty?
You're very pretty, and it's permanent.
It's semi-permanent. I mean, things have changed, but I don't plan on it. So...
Well, how, you know, it's not like a car where you get a warranty and stuff. So,
Shannon.
What?
No.
I'm just saying I'm well adjusted. I'm in a good place. I'm with a nice lady who's nice to me, and that's special. And
You're special.
See, we agree. We agree. It's nice when we agree like this. And I'm such a fan of my current wife. She's so amazing. And yeah, so it's a strange, and I think the one thing that has always made me wonder, you know, I spent 15 years with my ex. We never had rings. We never actually walked down the aisle, and we've been apart for 4 years. She's been with this other man for 4 years, who she said was her soulmate when she went with him, and they're still not married. And I haven't heard anything about an engagement. I find that odd, and I know there's always been a commitment issue there with her, and I don't have that problem. You know, I've always thought the idea of being married is actually pretty cool, and I know it might be old-fashioned, but I like the idea of being married. My current wife is amazing.
Shannon, stop
What?
it.
I said you're amazing.
You said my current wife.
Yvonne is amazing.
I'm your only wife.
Right.
You're my only husband.
Right. At this stage,
no,
we are exclusive to one another. And it's special.
Shannon,
it's special.
Somebody could be watching that and think you're serious.
Our exclusivity to one another at this stage is important.
See, that's the end. Just my wife.
Our exclusivity at this stage end?
No, there's no stage.
There's no stage.
Shannon.
How did we meet then? So we were just married when we met then?
No, Shannon.
Did you knock me out?
As much as I would like to sometimes.
Did I? Like right now, for instance? Anyhow.
You're such a brat.
You're my favorite, though.
I would hope so.
You're my favorite.
Maybe also put up with you. Think about that one for a moment.
I'm pretty sure you're right on that one.
There you go.
But yeah, so, you know, I try to play my cards close to the vest on this one. I don't tell people a lot about how well things are going, other than say things are going pretty well. And I'm very thankful to each and every one of you out there for all your support along the way. There have been subscribers who've been there through the whole 2 years. There were concerns when Yvonne and I met that somehow it was going to alter the channel and make it worse, and it's made it a lot better. Yvonne's an amazing person in the first place, and then there is that side too, and it's funny because, you know, every now and then I'll see a comment about, you know, oh, you got your wife in a video. Yeah, see, there's this thing called a woman, and they watch hockey too, and they have a right to their opinion. And it doesn't matter why they have that opinion, they have a right to that opinion.
But we don't have penises, so we don't gotta have an opinion on sports.
See, and I see that every now and then in the comment section, so if you're a moderator and you see that, you're like, oh, do I remove it? Do I... Yeah.
If I see it, I'll remove it.
Yeah, remove it, and then I'll moderate and delete it. Because no woman should be on the channel feeling harassed. I'm very proud of the fact that on Twitter, there are a lot of women that follow me. Anytime I see who's following me, I'm like, all right. And there's a lot of girls following me on Twitter. And I'm sure there are a lot of girls who pose as guys on YouTube so they don't get hassled. And I get it. Remember, there was a friend of mine at call center at Stream, and she said she hated playing online games with guys because she's like, we're pinned down and we're gonna die. She's playing like World of Warcraft, and some guy would find out she was a girl, and all they would do was hit on her, and it's like, we're dying. Can you stop trying to hit on me because you found out I'm a female, and help me? And she said that was actually really common. So she would go online using a male pseudonym and, you know, kind of hide. So I don't want women to feel like they're encroached upon by people. So if you see any of that, let me know. And I'm really proud of the community that's been built, and that it's more evenly split between female and male than it may look. I look at the demographics. The demographics tell me that 4.5% of my views are from women. That's not true. I know that's not true. So, and it's weird because I don't know how I got here. So I've got my daughter is right now. It looks like she's estranged from everybody. She's cut herself off from everybody in all the family since the last time I talked to her. So I'm trying to reach out to her too. If I can connect with Ashley and we can sit and talk. Ashley and I were always really close. When she moved in with her mother, it kind of felt like she'd made a decision that she was on her mother's side and against me. So she stopped talking to me at all. She had nothing to do with me. And it was really weird if she had run into me in public and we were chatting. It was really, really weird. So I was like, okay, you're really standoffish. So I'm trying to reach out to her now years later because she's had a falling out with her mother. And I know she doesn't like my son either. She can't stand him. And apparently she's cut herself off from a lot of people. So I'm trying to reach out to her too. And I'll let you guys know how that goes, if it goes anywhere. She can be very closed off. My daughter did very well in school. She didn't skip school. She didn't do drugs. She didn't drink. She couldn't drink. Alcohol actually kind of made her sick. And so and pot smoke made her sick too. So, you know, that's kind of a blessing on both counts. And she was never really hooked on video games. She would just get kind of bored of them and walk away after a couple hours, which was nice. Unless it was Sims. Sims you can play all day. And I agree with her on that one. That's a game you can just play all day and it's fun. But we always got along, and I think she would get a real kick out of what I'm doing now. And it would be great if I could see her. So maybe this channel can help with that too. So I get a lot out of this, and people focus on money and say, oh, you know, and I see that on the channel, and I'm like, oh, you're probably loaded. Why don't you get this and get that? And it's like, not loaded. The funniest comment today was somebody saying that I should hire somebody to cover other leagues. Hire them how? We haven't dug our way out of debt yet from paying for the van. I'm going to hire somebody to do what exactly? So they send me videos and I post them, and then I give them the lion's share of their videos, and then how does that work? Because at that point then I'm turning it into a business, and then there's more room for headaches. There's room for guys to say, for somebody I'm working with to say, well, wait, that video got 4,000 views and it only made $5. You're lying. And or saying, well, I don't trust what YouTube's telling you. How much did you make this month? All right, well, I'll take X amount. And it can get ugly. And, you know, money's a good way to ruin friendships. So I'm not hiring people. That being said, I know Adam's been working hard on a website, which is amazing and awesome. And it's greatly appreciated. And, We'll see what that does, because the podcast has been good. I need to do another episode of the podcast probably tomorrow since there's no game on. The merchandise through Zazzle would be connected on that site as well, so we'd probably see an uptick for that. I even advertise my books on Twitter, because why not? And I'll go in and see if any of them sold after I advertised. Last time I advertised on Twitter, none of them sold at all. Nobody bought one, and I was like, wow, I got 30 likes on that tweet, and nobody bought a book. All right, They're only $3. So it's not like I charge a ton, because I realize that they're not edited, and you know, they're not professionally made or anything. It was just, I started writing books again on the dare that I couldn't write better than Stephanie Meyer, who wrote Twilight. And when somebody told me that, I was like, yeah, I can. And then I did. So because I have characters that are fleshed out and actually make sense, I'm immediately better than Twilight. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching this. If you watched both videos, thanks for that. And here's to hoping that the chilly relationship I've had with my former family gets thawed out somewhat. I don't know how much stock I can put into anything that my ex-wife tells me in an email, because I know how she can kind of be on both sides at once. She may be one way with me, and yet privately she may be saying horrible things about me. That's kind of been the standard for the last 4 years and beyond. I found out after her and I broke up, she was saying awful things behind my back for years. I was like, really? So I take it with a grain of salt, but if it brings me closer to my kids, then I'll, you know, down as much salt as I have to. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.